But Todd Chrisley, by the way, is not the only one speaking out about prison conditions. His 26-year-old daughter, Savannah, has weighed in on the environment in both of her parents' facilities. She now hosts the podcast Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, and she joins me now live. Savannah, thank you for being with us again. First of all, when we talked to your dad the last time, your first concern was retaliation. You said they are not going to be happy that he is talking to you, and now he's saying that they retaliated.
For sure. I mean, not only have they tried to retaliate against him, but me as well. There have been discussions of them just ending my visits, not allowing me to come and visit, saying that I am a threat to the institution. And even when I go to visit, they make it a point to call me out, call the children out, and they don't allow us to act like everyone else there.
Some people might say, Savannah, well, you know, he's not allowed in the chapel. Why is that a big deal? But I mean, your dad is very religious, and that was his job, right? I mean, working in the chapel.
Yes, that was his job, working in the chapel, which our prison system is the only system that has allowed slave labor as a form of punishment. And that is where Cory Booker has stepped up and said, hey, this shouldn't be acceptable. But when it comes to your right to religion, our First Amendment states that you have the right to practice religion, and there is nothing that can stop you. And it's not only my father, there are tons of Muslim men at his facility that have been stopped from practicing their religious services. And Warden Salisbury stated, she sent out a memo that I have a copy of that says your work will come before your religious practices. So you cannot practice religion until you go and work and do what I tell you to do, basically.
Yeah, another claim that your dad has made is that he has been trying to talk to your mom, Julie. Obviously, they've been married for a long time. She's also in prison in Kentucky, but they've not been allowed to have any contact at all over the phone or obviously in person. I want to listen to what he had to tell me about that.
The warden, because of the stuff that y'all had put out, Julie's warden approved and said there was no risk for Julie and I to speak. This warden got the request from Julie's warden stating that they were requesting to allow me to communicate with Julie via phone. She denied it within 15 minutes of getting the request. I have not spoken to Julie since I've been here.
Did she say why she denied it if Julie's warden was going to allow it?
She does not talk to me. The warden does not come around me. She does not speak to me. Instead, she instructed for that shot to be given, told the two staff members that were supposed to have my DHO hearing, you grow some balls. Unless you're afraid to do your job, you call him in, you write him up, you sanction him. I want him sanctioned. Now, this is coming from two staff members who have given me statements.
And Savannah, when he talks about the shot given, what he means is, you know, when the chapel was closed down, he says he picked up a red phone to report that, which he says he was told to do, and then he was given a violation for that, which was eventually taken away because he was able to prove that he didn't do anything wrong. But back to your mom, also serving time again in Kentucky. I mean, how is she doing? That's like one of the #1 questions I've gotten since I started covering this. A lot of people are wanting to know how your mom is.
Yeah, you know, it's honestly the fact that they have not been able to communicate in almost a year and a half is baffling to me. When you have the director of the BOP, Colette Peters, stating that it is a priority for her to keep families together, but yet you're prohibiting communication, that's an issue. And it fires me up. But when it comes to my mother, I mean, it's a struggle. On my podcast, Unlocked with Savannah, I will be reading letters that she has written from prison. And almost every single letter she says, I miss my husband so badly it hurts.
Yeah, and I mean, love or hate your dad, there's no denying he's pretty fearless. I mean, the fact that he is still speaking out from the prison to me, and we kind of warned him the first time. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? Because you don't hear about prisoners talking about the conditions very much while they're still on the inside, because there is often retaliation. And he's very serious that he wants to continue speaking out. I want to play something else he told me, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Not one time have I asked y'all to get me out of here, have I?
No.
Not one time. God is going to take me out of here. God knew when I was coming in here. He knows when I'm going out.
So the point he's trying to make there is, I mean, he doesn't try to talk to me much about his case or really even about what he's going through in the prison. It's more about what he sees other people going through, elderly inmates. You heard him talk about the guy who we call Slim, who had the heart attack. He also told me about a gentleman with Alzheimer's in that prison, a man in his 70s who wasn't getting proper care and then kind of just mysteriously disappeared. No one knows where this man ended up. So it seems like his concern is really about the other men there.
For sure. I think I witness it during visitations. There are so many people who say, thank you for fighting for us. No one would listen. No one will listen until now. And I think reports show for themselves. There was just a report that came out that stated that over 344 inmate deaths, over half of them were of suicide. And that's because the BOP does not have proper procedures in place, or they're not following those procedures to save these men and women. So you have a mental health crisis within our own federal prison system, and no one's doing anything about it with a $9 billion budget a year.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.